Mr. Watson and Mrs. Watson have a pig named Mercy. Every Saturday, Mrs. Watson makes a special lunch. Time for a little Saturday something, Mrs. Watson says. You have outdone yourself, Mr. Watson says. Oink, says Mercy. Every Saturday after lunch, Mr. Watson goes outside. Mercy follows him. They stand in the driveway. Together, they admire Mr. Watson's convertible. Are you ready? Mr. Watson says. Oink, says Mercy. Mr. Watson opens the passenger door. Mercy hops in. She sits behind the wheel. She snuffles contentedly. Ha ha ha, Mr. Watson says every Saturday. You, my dear, are a porcine wonder, but even a porcine wonder cannot drive. Mr. Watson gently pushes Mercy towards the passenger seat, but Mercy does not move. Mercy does not want to sit in the passenger seat. Mercy wants to drive. Ha ha ha, Mr. Watson says. He pushes less gently this time. Scoot over, my dear. Mercy does not move. Help me, Mr. Watson calls out. Every Saturday, Mrs. Watson steps outside. Darling, Mrs. Watson says, if you let Mr. Watson drive, I'll make you an extra helping of hot buttered toast. I'll have it waiting for you when you get back home. Mercy narrows her eyes. She loves hot buttered toast. She also loves extra helpings. Slowly, very slowly, she moves over to the passenger side. What a dear, Mrs. Watson says. She claps her hands. You are such a good sport, darling. Yes, says Mr. Watson. She most certainly is. He gets in the car and sits behind the wheel. He turns the key into the ignition. The Watson convertible rumbles to life. Bon voyage, my dears, Mrs. Watson calls out. When you get home, we'll all have hot buttered toast. Goodbye, Mrs. Watson, Mr. Watson shouts out. Mr. Watson backs out the door very quickly. He does not look behind him. Mr. Watson is a forward-looking type of man. He does not believe in looking back. Oink, says Mercy, already having a great time. And we're off, Mr. Watson says. We're off on an adventure.